Have you ever wondered what would happen if someone tested your authenticity when you least expected it? What if that someone was one of the wealthiest men in the world, and your entire future hung in the balance of a single moment of truth? This is exactly what happened at the most exclusive charity gala in Dubai, where lives were about to change forever. The crystal chandeliers of the grand ballroom at the Emirates Palace reflected off the diamonds and gold adorning the necks and wrists of Abu Dhabi's elite. Sheikh Hamdan bin Rashid Al Maktoum, known for his $17 billion fortune and notoriously private nature, had finally emerged from seclusion to host his first charity gala in 5 years. The whispers around the room suggested he was searching for someone worthy to lead his new global humanitarian foundation, a position that would command respect, influence, and an annual budget larger than the GDP of several small nations. But what no one realized was that the Sheikh had devised an unexpected test that would expose everyone's true character in an instant. The room fell silent as Sheikh Hamdan approached the microphone. The collected crowd, CEOs, diplomats, celebrities, and socialites, leaned forward in anticipation. Among them stood Amara, the 23-year-old daughter of the Sheikh's longtime household maid, who had only gained entry by serving drinks. She clutched her serving tray tightly, trying to blend into the background while secretly hoping to catch the Sheikh's attention with the proposal she had spent months perfecting, a plan to bring sustainable water solutions to drought-stricken villages across North Africa. "I thank you all for coming tonight," the Sheikh began in perfect English. Then, without warning, he switched to rapid, complex Arabic, his eyes scanning the room as he spoke. Man yakin sadikin ma'i sayakin sadikin ma'i alalam. Hal tufahim yuni? His words, "Those who are honest with me will be honest with the world. Do you understand me?" hung in the air. The room froze. The business titans and celebrities who had claimed close relationships with the Sheikh and boasted of their multicultural fluency suddenly became statues, their faces masks of confusion and panic. Some nodded awkwardly, pretending to understand. Others looked away, suddenly fascinated by their champagne glasses. And then, from the back of the room, a clear voice responded in flawless Arabic, "Naam, afamak tamaman, ya Sheikh. Al-Sid Kuwa Aziz Kul Alakat Najiha." Yes, I understand you perfectly, Sheikh. Honesty is the foundation of all successful relationships. Every head turned to find the source of the voice. The crowd parted to reveal Amara, still holding her serving tray, her eyes meeting the Sheikh's with unwavering confidence. The Sheikh's stern expression transformed into a smile that reached his eyes. "And who might you be?" he asked, returning to English. "I am Amara, Your Excellency. Fatima's daughter." The Sheikh's eyebrows rose in recognition. "Fatima, my housekeeper for 20 years?" Amara nodded, suddenly aware that hundreds of eyes were fixed on her. "Yes, Your Excellency." What happened next would change not only Amara's life but the lives of millions around the world. But first, she would have to navigate the jealousy, sabotage, and unexpected challenges that awaited her in the Sheikh's inner circle. The gala continued, but the atmosphere had shifted dramatically. The Sheikh invited Amara to join him at the main table, displacing a famous Hollywood actress who could barely hide her indignation. As Amara took her seat, she felt the weight of resentful stares from those who had spent fortunes on designer clothes and jewelry, hoping to catch the Sheikh's attention. "Tell me, Amara," the Sheikh said, loud enough for those nearby to hear, "how does the daughter of my housekeeper speak Arabic with such eloquence when so many who claim business interests in my region cannot manage a simple greeting?" Amara's hands trembled slightly as she set down her water glass. "My mother believed that understanding your language was understanding your heart, Your Excellency. She taught me from childhood, and I studied Middle Eastern literature at university on scholarship." The Sheikh nodded approvingly. "And what would you do if you had resources at your disposal? Not small resources, but the kind that could change nations?" The question hung in the air. Amara felt her heartbeat quicken. This was the moment she had dreamed of but never truly believed would come. The proposal she had worked on for months was in her small clutch bag, but she decided to speak from her heart instead. Water, Your Excellency. I would bring water to places where children walk 8 hours a day instead of attending school. Where mothers watch their crops wither and their babies grow thin. I've designed a solar-powered filtration system that could be built using local materials and maintained by village technicians with minimal training. The Sheikh's eyes narrowed with interest. Ambitious for someone so young. The problems we face don't care about our age, Your Excellency. They only respond to solutions. A slow smile spread across the Sheikh's face. Come to my office tomorrow. Bring your designs. As the evening progressed, Amara noticed a man watching her from across the room. Tall, with intense eyes and an expensive but understated suit, he didn't fit neatly into any of the social circles present. When their eyes met, he didn't look away but instead raised his glass slightly in acknowledgement. Later, as she was leaving, he approached her. Impressive performance tonight, he said, his tone making it unclear whether he was complimenting or accusing her. It wasn't a performance, Amara replied. Everything in these circles is a performance, he countered. I'm Karim Nasser, the Sheikh's chief investment officer. And you think I'm an investment risk, Amara stated rather than asked. Karim's expression remained unreadable. I think you're either exactly what the Sheikh has been looking for, or you're the most brilliant con artist I've ever encountered. Either way, I'll be watching closely. I look forward to changing your mind, Mr. Nasser, Amara said with more confidence than she felt. As she walked away, she didn't see the small smile that briefly crossed Karim's face. The next morning, Amara woke before dawn in the small apartment she shared with her mother on the outskirts of Abu Dhabi. Fatima was already up, preparing breakfast. Mama, I need to tell you something, Amara began, her voice trembling with excitement and anxiety. Fatima turned, concern immediately crossing her weathered face. What is it, Habibti? When Amara explained what had happened at the gala, her mother sank slowly into a chair, her hand covering her mouth. You spoke directly to the Sheikh? In front of everyone? He asked a question in Arabic, and I answered. No one else did. Fatima's eyes filled with tears. Oh, my clever girl. But you must be careful. The wealthy and powerful live by different rules. Their world can be dangerous for those not born into it. This could be my chance to make a difference, Mama. The chance we've always talked about. Fatima reached across the table and squeezed her daughter's hand. Then you must take it. But never forget who you are and where you come from. Hours later, Amara stood in the Sheikh's private office on the 50th floor of Al Maktoum Tower, her portfolio clutched tightly to her chest. The view of the city was breathtaking, the desert beyond stretching to the horizon like an ocean of gold. The Sheikh entered without ceremony, followed by Karim and 2 assistants. Show me these designs you spoke of, he said without preamble. For the next hour, Amara explained her water filtration system, the implementation strategy, and the community education program that would accompany it. She had calculated costs, projected outcomes, and even identified 3 pilot villages in Sudan where the need was greatest. When she finished, the room was silent. The Sheikh studied her for a long moment before speaking. You understand that there are people with decades of experience and multiple degrees who have proposed similar projects? Amara nodded. Yes, Your Excellency. But with respect, many of those projects fail because they're designed in boardrooms rather than in consultation with the people who will use them. My mother's village in Sudan has seen 7 different water initiatives come and go. The equipment breaks, replacement parts never arrive, or the technology is too complicated for local maintenance. And you believe you've solved these problems? I believe I've addressed them differently. My system isn't the most sophisticated, but it's the most sustainable. It can be built and maintained by the people who need it most. The Sheikh turned to Karim. Your assessment? Karim's eyes hadn't left Amara throughout her presentation. The concept is sound. The implementation will be challenging. But if it works... He paused. If it works, it could be replicated in thousands of communities. The Sheikh nodded once, decisively. You have 1 year and $5 million. Show me results in 3 villages, and we'll discuss expanding further. Amara's knees nearly buckled. Thank you, Your Excellency. I won't disappoint you. See that you don't, the Sheikh replied. Karim will oversee the project's financial aspects. You'll report to him directly. As the Sheikh left the room, Karim approached Amara. Congratulations, he said, his voice neutral. You've just been given an opportunity many people have spent their lives pursuing. And you've been assigned to watch me fail, Amara replied. For the first time, Karim smiled genuinely. Actually, I requested the assignment. I'm curious to see if you're as good as you appear to be. I'm better, Amara said, surprising herself with her boldness. Prove it, Karim challenged. The next 6 months were the most difficult and exhilarating of Amara's life. She relocated to Sudan, living in conditions that shocked the project's accountants when they reviewed her minimal expense reports. She worked from dawn until well past dusk, meeting with village elders, training local technicians, and adjusting her designs based on the realities on the ground. Karim visited monthly, his initial skepticism gradually giving way to reluctant admiration. During his 3rd visit, as they sat outside Amara's simple hut reviewing progress reports, a young girl approached with 2 cups of water. This is from the new well, the girl said proudly in Arabic, offering them the cups. Karim hesitated, but Amara took a cup and drank deeply. After a moment, Karim did the same. This is the first clean water in this village in over a decade, Amara explained. Before, the women walked 12 kilometers each way to the next village as well. And now? Now the girls can go to school instead of fetching water. The rates of waterborne illness have already dropped by 60%. And the village council has voted to use some of their saved time to create a community garden. Karim looked at her with new eyes. You're actually doing it. Did you doubt it? Everyone doubted it. Projects like this have a 90% failure rate. Amara smiled. That's because 90% of projects like this are designed to impress donors, not to work for the people who need them. As they walked through the village, children ran up to Amara, calling her name and showing her their schoolbooks. Women waved from doorways, and men nodded respectfully. They see you as one of them, Karim observed. I am one of them, Amara replied. My mother was born 3 villages over. These could have been my cousins, my neighbors, if circumstances had been different. That night, as they sat by a small fire outside the village, Karim asked the question that had been bothering him for months. Why didn't you ever mention your connection to this region in your proposal? It would have strengthened your case. Amara stared into the flames. Because I wanted the project to be judged on its merits, not on my personal story. Too often, initiatives like this become about the narrative of the person leading them rather than the people they're meant to serve. Karim was silent for a long moment. You're unlike anyone I've ever met. Is that a compliment or an observation? Amara asked, echoing their first conversation. Both, Karim admitted. By the 9-month mark, all 3 pilot villages had functioning water systems. Disease rates had plummeted, school attendance had soared, and neighboring communities were requesting to be included in the program. Amara had documented everything meticulously, creating training manuals in local dialects and establishing a network of local technicians who could troubleshoot problems. When the Sheikh arrived for his inspection, accompanied by an entourage of advisors and security personnel, the contrast between his entourage and the simple village was stark. Yet as he toured the facilities and spoke with community members, his formal demeanor gradually softened. The moment that changed everything came unexpectedly. As they were leaving the school building, a sudden sandstorm blew in. The Sheikh's security team rushed to hustle him back to the vehicles, but a small boy tugged at his pristine white thobe. You can come to my house, the boy said in Arabic. My mother has made tea. The security team moved to intervene, but the Sheikh waved them off. "Lead the way," he told the boy, to the horror of his entourage. The boy led them to a simple mud brick home where his mother, initially flustered by the unexpected royal visitor, quickly recovered and welcomed them with dignity. As the storm raged outside, the Sheikh sat on a simple mat, drinking sweet tea and listening to the family's stories of how the water project had changed their lives. When they finally returned to the compound where the Sheikh's helicopter waited, he took Amara aside. "You've done more in 9 months than most of my foundations have accomplished in years," he said. "But more importantly, you've done it in a way that honors the people you're serving. Thank you, Your Excellency. I'm prepared to expand the project to 50 villages immediately, with you as director of the new Al Maktoum Water Initiative. The position comes with a substantial salary and a seat on my charitable foundation's board." Amara's heart raced. This was beyond anything she had imagined. "I'm honored, Your Excellency. There is one condition," the Sheikh continued. "The initiative will be headquartered in Abu Dhabi. You would need to return with us." Amara looked back at the village, where children were playing around the new well despite the recent storm. "With respect, Your Excellency, I believe I'm needed here. The project is still fragile. The systems need monitoring, the technicians need mentoring." The Sheikh's expression was unreadable. "You would turn down a position that many would kill for?" "I would respectfully request a modification. Allow me 6 more months here to ensure everything is stable. Then I'll return to help design the expansion." For a long moment, the Sheikh was silent. Then, unexpectedly, he laughed. "Karim told me you would say exactly that. He bet me a substantial sum on it." Amara glanced at Karim, who stood a respectful distance away, trying and failing to hide a smile. "You've passed the final test, Amara," the Sheikh said. "I needed to know if you were doing this for the recognition or for the people. Your answer confirms what I had hoped." 1 year to the day after the gala where it all began, Amara stood on a stage in Abu Dhabi, addressing an audience of international donors, government officials, and media. Behind her, a massive screen showed real-time footage from water projects now operating in 75 villages across Sudan, Ethiopia, and Somalia. "Water is life," she said simply. "And life should not be a luxury available only to those born in the right places. What we've accomplished this year is just the beginning." In the front row, her mother Fatima sat beside Sheikh Hamdan, tears streaming down her face. Beside them was Karim, who had become Amara's strongest ally and, more recently, something more. After the presentation, as donors lined up to pledge support for the next phase, the Sheikh pulled Amara aside. "Your mother told me something interesting today," he said. "She said that when you were a child, you once asked her why I never spoke to her in Arabic, only in English. Apparently, she told you it was because important people don't bother learning the languages of those who serve them." Amara nodded, remembering the conversation. "That's why you answered me at the gala, isn't it? Not to impress me, but because you recognized that I was speaking my native tongue and deserved the courtesy of a reply." "Yes, Your Excellency." The Sheikh smiled. "In all my years, with all my wealth, that simple courtesy has been remarkably rare." He paused. "My test that night wasn't just about language skills. It was about authenticity. Everyone in that room was pretending to be something they weren't, more knowledgeable, more connected, more compassionate than they truly were. You were the only one who simply was who you are." "And who am I, Your Excellency?" "You are the future I've been looking for," the Sheikh said with conviction. "Someone who understands that true change doesn't come from boardrooms and charity galas, but from genuine connection with those we aim to help." Amara felt a wave of emotion wash over her. From serving drinks at a gala to standing here with one of the world's wealthiest men validating her life's mission, the journey seemed impossible, yet here she was. As the evening concluded, Karim found her on the balcony overlooking the city lights. "So, director of the Al Maktoum Global Water Initiative. How does it feel?" Overwhelming, Amara admitted. A year ago, I was finishing university with student loans and helping my mother clean houses on weekends. Kareem leaned against the railing beside her. You know, when the Sheikh first told me about you, I was certain you were running some elaborate con. The maid's daughter who speaks perfect Arabic and has designed a revolutionary water system? It sounded too convenient. And now? Amara asked, turning to face him. Now I know better, he said softly. I've seen you work in the mud until midnight. I've watched you turn down luxury accommodations to stay in villages without electricity. I've seen you argue with suppliers until they dropped their prices so we could serve more communities. He took her hand, a gesture that would have been unthinkable months ago. You've changed how I see the world, Amara. How I see my place in it. Before she could respond, they were interrupted by the Sheikh's assistant, informing them that the press conference was about to begin. The international media had gathered, eager to cover the Sheikh's announcement of a $5 billion commitment to expand the water initiative across 17 countries over the next decade. As Amara took her place beside the Sheikh at the podium, she caught sight of her mother in the audience, standing proudly alongside the wives of diplomats and business leaders. What happened next would be reported in newspapers around the world. The Sheikh, known for his formal and traditional approach, stepped aside and gestured for Amara to take the microphone. This initiative will not bear my name, he announced to the shocked audience. It will be called simply Maji, the Swahili word for water, and it will be led by Amara Okafor, who has proven that the most powerful qualification for changing the world is not wealth or status, but understanding and commitment. Cameras flashed as Amara stepped forward, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Water connects us all, she began. It flows through every human body regardless of nationality, religion, or social status. Today, we commit to ensuring that clean water flows through every community, regardless of their place on the map or their economic standing. As she outlined the ambitious plans for the initiative, she noticed several faces in the audience that she recognized from the gala a year ago, the same people who had frozen when the Sheikh spoke Arabic, who had looked through her when she served their drinks. Now they watched her with a mixture of admiration and disbelief. After the press conference, as the crowd mingled at the reception, one of those people, a famous tech billionaire known for his humanitarian image, approached her. Remarkable achievement, he said smoothly. I'd love to discuss a potential partnership between Maji and my foundation. Amara smiled politely. We welcome all sincere partners. Perhaps you could start by visiting one of our project sites? The conditions are basic, but the experience is invaluable for understanding our approach. The man's smile faltered slightly. Of course, my team will look into scheduling something. As he walked away, Kareem appeared at her side. You know he won't go, right? People like him don't do mud and mosquitoes. Then he won't be a partner, Amara said simply. This isn't about photo opportunities or tax write-offs. It's about changing lives. Later that night, as the celebration wound down, Amara found herself alone with the Sheikh in his private study. He handed her a small wooden box. This belonged to my grandmother, he said as Amara opened it to reveal an antique compass. She was born in a Bedouin tent and never learned to read, but she could navigate the desert better than any man with all his modern instruments. She understood that finding your way isn't about having the most advanced tools, it's about knowing where true north lies and staying faithful to it. Amara held the compass reverently. I'm honored, Your Excellency. You've reminded an old man of something important, the Sheikh continued. That wealth without purpose is merely decoration, and power without compassion is merely force. You came into my world and showed authenticity in a place built on appearances. He looked out the window at the glittering city below. I've built towers and companies and fortunes, but what you're building will outlast them all. 3 years later, Amara stood at the edge of a newly constructed reservoir in Ethiopia. Beside her, Kareem held their infant daughter, named Fatima after Amara's mother, who now served as the Sheikh's chief of household staff, a position created especially for her. The Maji initiative had brought clean water to over 3 million people across Africa and parts of Asia. More importantly, it had created a model that other organizations were beginning to adopt, one that emphasized local ownership, sustainable technology, and genuine partnership rather than dependency. As they watched children playing by the water's edge, Karim squeezed her hand. "Do you ever think about how it all started?" With a simple question in Arabic at a gala full of people pretending to be something they weren't. Amara nodded. "I think about it every day. How the smallest moment of truth can change everything." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of a group of local women, coming to collect water in colorful containers. They greeted Amara by name, asking about her baby and sharing news of their own families. This was the part of her work that no award or recognition could match, the simple human connection that reminded her why it all mattered. That evening, as they prepared to return to their field headquarters, Amara received a video call from the Sheikh. His health had declined in recent months, making travel difficult, but he remained actively involved in the initiative. "I've been watching the data from the new sites," he said after greeting them. "Impressive results, especially in the northern region. We've had challenges there," Amara admitted. "But the local council developed a brilliant modification to the filtration system that's actually improved efficiency." The Sheikh nodded approvingly. "That's the difference in your approach. Problems become opportunities when the people affected are empowered to solve them." Before ending the call, the Sheikh had one more piece of news. "The United Nations has requested that you address the General Assembly next month. They want to highlight Maji as a model for sustainable development." Amara was momentarily speechless. From a servant at a gala to addressing world leaders, the journey seemed impossible. As if reading her thoughts, the Sheikh added, "Remember, Amara, you were never just a maid's daughter serving drinks. You were always exactly who you are now, someone who sees clearly, speaks truthfully, and acts with purpose. The world just needed time to recognize what I saw that night when you answered in Arabic while everyone else stood frozen in pretense." After the call ended, Amara and Karim walked to the edge of the village, where they could see the reservoir reflecting the sunset. Their daughter slept peacefully in her carrier, unaware that she was growing up between two worlds, one of privilege and power, another of simplicity and struggle. "What will you tell her when she's old enough to understand?" Karim asked, nodding toward their sleeping child. Amara considered the question carefully. "I'll tell her that the world is full of people pretending to be important, but true importance comes from being real. That wealth isn't about what you have, but what you do with it. That power isn't about control, but about creating possibility." She looked out at the horizon, where the first stars were beginning to appear. "And I'll tell her that sometimes, all it takes to change everything is the courage to speak your truth when everyone else is silent." As night fell over the village, lights began to appear, electric lights powered by the same solar panels that ran the water pumps. Children gathered in the community center to study under these lights, their futures expanding with each page they turned. This was Amara's true legacy, not the recognition or the titles, but the ripples of possibility spreading outward from each community touched by clean water. Children who would grow up healthy enough to learn. Women who would use their reclaimed hours to start businesses. Men who would no longer watch helplessly as drought destroyed their livelihoods. In the end, it wasn't about a billionaire sheikh testing people in Arabic. It was about the moment when pretense fell away and authenticity stood revealed, a moment that reminded the world that sometimes the most powerful voice in the room belongs to the person no one expected to speak. If you found this story inspiring, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to the channel for more content that celebrates authenticity, compassion, and the power of ordinary people to create extraordinary change. Your support helps us share stories that remind us all of our common humanity and the difference one genuine voice can make in a world of echoes.